So welcome, Pam. We're doing a whole lot of really interesting pre-conference interviews for this year's up-and-coming NZAPH conference in Wellington this year.
That's
So,
exciting.
so welcome to this session. And I guess the easiest way is to get you to share a little bit about yourself so people who haven't met you before can understand a little bit about your background. And then it'd be really nice to give people a bit of a teaser of what you're going to be talking about at this year's conference.
All right. Well, you would be one of the ones that know that ultimately I'm an energy healer. And I started out on the journey of hypnosis at the same time as you did, in the same school, right? We were in the same class, weren't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Back in
Good
the
old Merv Holstead.
Merv Holster, yeah. He was a very spiritual man, wasn't he? And something of that rubbed off on me because I've always, I've had so much compassion for people and it's never waned. I noticed the effect of energy on people, and I used to ask my God when I was a child to let me take on board all of the coughs that people had and all of that because I had so much compassion. I didn't know that I was actually a healer. I didn't know why I was so much in pain when I was a child. It was like, how we have cats and dogs. They often do the same thing and they take on the healing for the family. And I guess that's what I did. It's been recently since I've been having many signs along the way that I wasn't sticking to my life purpose. I did a lot of work in the corporate world. And, when you don't listen, the Big Mac truck comes along and bowls you over. And I had more than one Big Mac truck coming along and bowling me over for sure. It's like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. I need to make money. And so, I may share a couple of these experiences with the conference attendees because it just shows you and it shows those people that want to get ahead in life and want to serve their professional clients and people, that there are things that can get in the way. And if I quickly go segue to what I'm going to be talking about, and it is based on energy, and it is based on ageless wisdom, and it is based on those signs that I got that weren't listened to, and then I recognized the last couple were so profound that I needed to stop. And one of the stops was stepping away from NZAPH being the president, because I needed to stop and give myself some time and give myself and this is part and parcel of what I'm saying, is you do need to give yourself the time to come back to who you really are. You can't give yourself away. There's a balance between the giving and the receiving. And I found that most of me was giving, and I needed to stop and say, okay, what is my purpose? So getting to the purpose of what I'm going to be talking about at conference is about the ageless wisdom that we haven't been listening to as a global community for so long. And so many people, 98%, even though we've got a mass consciousness of love and all of that happening, we still are not getting the point of what it is that we need to change to evolve ourselves and the reason why we're on earth in the first place. So this is what I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about the dimensions and the densities of consciousness, as we don't really listen and look at too much because we get so tied up in learning something new and learning this and that. And what the difference is between absolute truth and subjective truth. Evolving our consciousness is really about recognizing that our subjective truth is what we've discovered along the way. and that it is what we believe to be true. And yet, as you know, there is a massive evolution of eternity that helps you evolve yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And emotionally is really what I'm going to be talking about as well, because the mass consciousness of what's going on, I don't want to give away too much, but we have got a huge effect on the mass consciousness of this global chaos that's happening at the moment. And my heart has always been driven by my love for the planet, nature, and how beautiful. If you think about it, I do this. If you think about it, all of the plants and animals and growth in nature, they all know how to grow and spiral into their beautiful flowers, say, in their gardens, and then they die and then they renew, and there's a cycle of life that comes and goes, and they all do it perfectly until we as mankind come along with our ego, our negative ego consciousness that decides that we can control something, and we are the only beings on earth that destroy that natural progress because of our negative consciousness. And we deal as hypnotherapists with people's emotions, and we need to be aware of the subtle energies that are in existence around those emotions and around the fact that we have an influence on what's going on in the chaotic world. But we need to know that. We need to grow our subjective truths into another level of consciousness and keep on going and recognize how magnificent we all are and how powerful we all are. You take victims, say. We've got a lot of clients that are victims of abuse, victims of themselves, victims of addiction, victims of their trauma, victims, which is not a powerful thing. So I'm talking about claiming that power back and recognizing that we have so much to give, so much magnificence to add value to this whole global community and our planet and the ascension of our planet, really. As you know, my business is called Ascension Dynamics. I'm not a good businesswoman because I just love to be able to show people the magnificence of themselves, and it's my passion, and that's what I do. So yes, I'll bring along a couple of case studies and a couple of quirky sort of things that have happened to me to show me the way, and some of them are very personal. Things that I haven't even shared. And I've recently finished a book, and I haven't shared some of those things, but I want to be able to have people recognize, have the other conference attendees, just like I am, recognize how amazing we all are. Every single one of us is unique, and every single one of us has a special mission, and every single one of us is connected to each other with love, and to, move all of that crap out of the way is what we need to do to make the difference, to co-create together. And I think hypnotherapists are in an amazing spot to help people, because we can access and help them change their bad karma, if you like, their crappy stuff that gets in the way of them expressing themselves and their unique beauty. So I can talk on this forever. So I'll stop for a minute, and if you've got any questions, I'll be pleased to ask.
Yeah, so you've got a book that you've been working on for quite some time, and I hear that's actually being printed as we speak. Is that right?
Correct. My first proof is being printed as we speak. I've just had some more word about it. I'm excited about it, but as usual, I typed too much. I've got so much to talk about that I had to take another year to hone down what I typed, because it's the subject of another book. It's like, okay, this one here advocates hypnotherapy, advocates so much that it's really good for the hypnotherapists to read themselves and to give to their clients, because their clients can then have the education they need to be able to come to you, at me as a hypnotherapist, and recognize what they need to focus on. It's all about positivity. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, the people that expected it out last year didn't get it. They had to wait another year because I had to actually hone it down. So there's a number 2 one day.
Hopefully by October, by the conference, you reckon it'll be out and ready to hold in your hand?
It will be, because the proof is all done and it's on its way. It'll be on its way to me very, very shortly. I've got an email there that's just arrived from them. So yeah, I will
be. What's it called, Pam?
It's called Astral. Now, why is it called Astral, Meredith? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about this. We have multiple bodies, right, in the dimensions and densities of consciousness. Our physical being is the most dense, of course, because we can see it. But on the outside of that, I'm not going to tell you too much, but I'll tell you about this. The astral is the emotional body, all right? And it's connected to the astral plane. Just as our mental and thoughts can travel in infinity out in the mental plane.
So I'm thinking about the mass consciousness. It's something that you've mentioned a couple of times that you are going to talk about. And I guess a lot of people haven't necessarily sat back and thought about what that even means. So this is something that I'm looking forward to your guidance on, and sort of your perspective and your take on it, and how that can really be something to be considerate of when we're working with people individually, how that can affect that mass consciousness and upgrade people, really get that vibration at a higher frequency of thinking. Because of course, when we're in our sort of lower frequency of fear, it affects things around us. So our family will feel the fear, and it's almost contagious. So just as fear can be contagious, so can happiness and love and all of those good vibes, right?
Okay, I'll give you one of my secrets here then. In the Second World War, physicists brought about the critical mass theory. So I'm not going into that because it's too scientific for me. But along that line came about the 100th monkey effect. It's about how we need to keep good company. If we keep not so good company, eventually the echo chambers of our mind will take on board what's been expressed around us. It's an energy exchange that we're not even aware of. And without giving too much away, I will be talking about that and giving examples of that, because this is what's going on in our world. We're looking out there and we're seeing ram raids, and we're seeing people being stabbed, and we're seeing people being shot, and we're seeing wars, and we're seeing all these things that are expressions of powerlessness. So really, we're talking about power, we're talking about love, and we're talking about wisdom, the sacred trinity of qualities that we need to possess.
Yeah.
And why would I be talking about this? Because I've studied it in great depth because of those incidents that made me study it. The incidents that created me into a place, I call it the dark night of the soul, where you take yourself, because of your soul is looking for a way to advance itself, and all of these challenges come along if you don't listen to them. the dark nights of the soul is where you go and there's only one way out, to stay there and rot, or climb to the top, you know. And many people go through that. They have to actually find their spirituality to climb to the top. It's the only way.
Yeah, often it is a moment of total helplessness that gets someone to create some level of catalyst of want for change. And, you know, when they get to that point, maybe they suffer from a deep depression or, again, fears that have stopped them from being able to thrive in life in some way. It takes saturation point for people often to go, hang on, this can't be it. There must be more.
Right. Well, we say that to our clients too, don't we?
Yeah.
The dark night of the soul for me lasted for several years. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, you got the point. I think the thing is, we've been involved in hypnotherapy, the two of us, for a long time. You've done a lot of teaching. My sort of teaching is a different sort of teaching. We all are unique in the way we express ourselves. And that is a mutual respect that we have. And to be able to help others to understand something, you know, it's really important to be authentic. It's really important to want people to help themselves, because nobody's going to do it for them but them. We can guide the way and we can talk about subjective truths, but it takes great guts and great determination to carry on and even carry on again when you get knocked down. This world is a school of hard knocks, is it not? And, you know, those hard knocks are there for us to learn the lesson and to find the gift in them. And these things need to be known, because I assumed that every hypnotherapist knew some of these things, but they don't. And assuming makes an ass out of you and me, doesn't it? You know, that old one?
The gathering that we'll have of fellow hypnotherapists, it gives them an opportunity to think about things maybe from a new perspective that perhaps in the past they haven't thought about.
Yeah, well, that's why we've got such an eclectic group. So we can all share with each other what we've discovered and what we know to be true, what we've realized. It's called self-realization, isn't it? So it's, you know, we can gather and we can absorb some of that stuff. And I think conferences, we've talked about this before, Meredith, having face-to-face personal conferences instead of online makes such a big difference, because you see, you feel, you know, you recognize the beauty in everybody and how valuable we all are, and what a determination and service we give as therapists. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, if anyone wants to come along to this year's conference, you can check out our information on the NZAPH website, nzaph.com. There's information and tickets there. You don't have to be a hypnotherapist to come along. You might just have an interest in hypnotherapy in general, or maybe are considering a career in hypnosis. So it's a great opportunity to meet people who have been in the field for a number of years and have a little chit chat in person, get some of those juicy questions answered. And also, you know, it's a wonderful opportunity to keep us really pushing ourselves to learn and grow and add to the toolbox of understandings. So I'm looking forward to this year. It is October 12th and 13th in Wellington. The information on where it is, it's by the airport, so if people are flying in, there is a shuttle service that is free if you're staying at the venue. So it's going to be a terrific event. And thank you very much, Pam, today for joining me to talk about what's coming up and get people excited.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again, Meredith. Always is. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I forgot I have to book. I have to book the venue, so I've got a place that I don't have to travel to.
So let the booking place know that you're part of the NZAPH conference as well, because that helps us as a conference sort of, to make it all work. And sort of, if you need to have a shuttle from the airport, then that's all part and parcel of it. So look, hey, thank you again, Pam, for your time, and please check out the other information on other speakers as well. We've got a YouTube channel where all of that is there. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. But look, at the end of the day, it's just reaching out to people, again, fellow hypnotherapists out there who may be feeling a little bit siloed, because it is a very private career choice where quite often you don't get to talk that much to your colleagues. You're just seeing client after client. So I think to come together en masse and really have a good chin wag and catch up with the gossip is always very good for the soul, isn't it?
Yep.
Brilliant.